The Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement signed by Canada and the European Union is a sweeping constitutional-style agreement that covers many areas, and only some of them are fully related to trade. Others are only partially related to this area. The Spanish economy and the economies and the civil society of all European countries will be affected by the entry into force of this agreement. For instance, the purchase of goods and services by the Canadian public sector, which is known as public procurement, will enable Spanish and European corporations to opt to gain contracts with the public Canadian sectors and public entities. This is a great opportunity. Second, the reduction or elimination of tariffs in the agriculture sector will positively affect many very relevant industrial sectors of the Spanish economy. Think of olive oil, think of the vegetable sector, think of pork derivative products. Them all will benefit from an enhanced possibility to access the Canadian economy. But not only this, also for the first time the Canadian government has accepted to respect the European geographical indicators. That is to say, many Spanish cheeses, wines and other products will be protected in their names in the sale of those products in Canada. So no Roquefort cheese will be produced in Canada, no Manchego cheese will be produced there, or no Vino de la Rioja. That is, again, an additional opportunity for the European economies. In fisheries, Spanish corporations will benefit from an enhanced market access as, from now on, fish caught in Newfoundland and Labrador will be processed in plants outside Canada, and after that they will freely export it. The fishing sector has a paramount importance in the Spanish economy. But not only that, also the manufacturing automobile sector will be radically affected by this treaty. This sector has become increasingly important for the Spanish economy. Well, European brands will be in a much better position to export to Canada now, as first, tariffs will be eliminated, but also in non-tariff barriers, for the first time, 17 European regulatory standards have been accepted by the Canadian authorities. That covers lighting systems, noise standards, bumpers, among others. From now on, vehicles produced under these European standards will be accepted in Canada. Along with all these benefits, the CETA includes a number of innovative regulation for labor standards, sustainable development, environmental protection, intellectual property, and the respect of cultural goods, among others. However, the CETA still generates a number of uncertainties about how all these new rights will be enforced. Essentially, the investor-state dispute settlement system remains uncertain, and its scope and procedure is not yet clear. It's far, actually, from being clear. Some ambiguities are critical and cannot be tolerated. For instance, in this system, the definition of investor and the definition of investment are too broad and too vaguely defined. Second, the definition of the famous or infamous fair and equitable treatment standard of protection is vague, and then it is still open for abuse in arbitral tribunals. Third, there is no definition in the treaty for the concept of legitimate expectations nor specific representations from the state to the investors. What does it mean? Well, by giving those terms a broad interpretation, we can see how the classic umbrella clause can be brought again into place, even if the CETA itself deletes that clause. most of the exceptions to the violation of the rights of investors, and I am thinking of environmental protection or sustainable development, are affected by the classic necessity test, which is to say that those measures would only be legal in case that they prove to be necessary for the environment without having a definition of what necessary is. There is no clear definition of the scope of the famous right to regulate of the states, and there is no clear list of the topics inside the CETA that are excluded from the investment dispute settlement system. Among these, it is particularly confusing the treatment of exclusions of public services, cultural exceptions, patents, water and water services. And this is worrying. The Madrid Arbitration Day will definitely explore the likely consequences of the CETA and its investor-state dispute settlement system for the Spanish economy and for the European economies, and whether the treaty, with or without this dispute settlement system, will enhance the level of cohesion, the level of growth, and the level of sustainable development in the Spanish economy.